welcome back. Sitting here waiting for you, and I was just thinking, do many famous people know you? I mean, if you were in a crowd and a famous person, a George Clooney, President of the United States, went by, or do you have anyone that would come by and say, wow, there's so-and-so there, and make you feel real good among all your friends because they knew you? I have no one like that. I've been around some famous people, but they wouldn't know me from Adam. But I was sitting here reading about an incident that took place that made me think of being known by famous people. You would call them brushes with fame. And we all have one. Believers in Christ have the greatest brush with fame you can imagine, and I'm going to share that with you. It's all tied to a story. It's tied to several stories, but the one I'm picking here is a story involving the prophet Elijah. I think you've heard of him. He's the guy that leaves in a fiery chariot eventually at the end of his time here on earth. Elijah was a prophet of God, and the king at the time this story took place was a guy by the name of Ahab. Not the Ahab of Moby Dick time. That was Melville's story. This, I think, Ahab got his name from the King Ahab. King Ahab was a king after David, after Solomon, after several other bad kings, and Ahab was among the worst, and he married bad. He married Jezebel, horrible woman. And one thing Ahab did that was just horrible to God was he quit worshiping God, and he said, we're going to worship Baal. That's one of the idols, gods of the area. And so he killed all the prophets of God that he could find, and he started having the people worship Baal, had a big statue, had people kiss the feet of Baal and all of this stuff. That ticked God off big time. He sent Elijah over there to tell Ahab how mad he was, and to tell Ahab that it wasn't going to rain for a good while. I mean, as in precipitation, it wasn't going to rain. And it didn't rain for 3 years. And finally, God had Elijah go to tell Ahab to meet him at a mountain, Mount Carmel. Not the candy, but Carmel as in a mountain, C-A-R-M-E-L. And there at that mountain, Elijah, with the help of God and only himself, because he thought all the other prophets were dead, he performed a miracle. God performed a miracle through him that resulted in the death of 450 prophets of Baal. And it really humiliated Ahab big time. And here is Elijah. God's used him to perform this miracle. People are chanting his name, and they're hollering how great he is. And son of a gun, Jezebel, the mean wife of Ahab, she sends a messenger to him and says, Elijah, you are going to die tomorrow. You will not be alive tomorrow. I'm going to have you killed. When Elijah heard this, after the great miracle, he runs scared to death. And he goes into the wilderness, stays there for many weeks, and finally he's at this mouth of this cave, and he's standing there. And God comes to him. I don't know if it's just a voice or appears to him, but God says this to him, Elijah, what are you doing here? And Elijah said, well, instead of reading, I'll just tell you, he said, look, people are going to kill me. Everybody, they hate me. I'm running away. I'm the last prophet there is, the last person that believes in you, and now I'm scared to death. And God tells him this, Elijah, I have 7,000 people in Israel who have not bowed down to Baal or kissed his feet. And Elijah had no idea. I thought I was the only one. I was feeling sorry for myself. There's 7,000 people out there. Elijah didn't know it. I imagine Ahab didn't know it, or he would have had them killed. The thing is, God knew it, and he knew who they were, and he could have named them to Elijah, I'm sure, had he cared to. The thing is, I considered being one of those 7,000 is pretty powerful to have God referred to you, to Elijah like that. 7,000. Mark's one of them. Wow, that would have been a brush with fame just to have God refer to you in a sentence. But then I started thinking of another verse in the Bible that actually is a brush with fame, that is every bit as good, if not better, than the what comment that God made to Elijah about the 7,000. Paul is writing a letter to Timothy, and in 2 Timothy 2 and verse 19, Paul says this, Nevertheless, the firm foundation of God stands, having this seal, the Lord knows those who are his. Wow. That is powerful to me. The Lord knows how many hairs I have on my head. I realize that. He knows how many hairs everybody has on their head. But the thing is, he also, the most important thing is, Mark, I know you. You are one of my children. It doesn't mean I'm better than anybody else. I act better. I try to, but I fail miserably so many times. But God says, you're my child. I've justified you, and you will be glorified with me, as will all of my children, all of Christians. That is the greatest brush with fame. I don't care if the president, George Clooney, or whoever spotted you in a crowd and said, hey, and made you feel good. God is making us feel so much better. And if I can just take that notion, God knows me, not only who I am, but he knows that I'm one of his. That helps me get through the drudgery of the days. And I hope it'll help you, and I hope it'll make you want to tune in next time when we have another encouraging word. Thanks so much for showing up. I appreciate it.